If you just tuned in and you're looking at what the hell is that on this table, you have a horrible life because you have not seen one of the greatest B-rated movies of all time. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Ladies, gentlemen, and other, welcome to the Extreme Channel. It's going to be kind of a different video today. So this is a collectible, a statue from the movie Tremors with Kevin Bacon, one of the greatest movies ever made. Now, I've had this probably for maybe 10 years, quite a long time, and I've never reviewed this piece. So we're going to do a number of things today. One, I'm going to show you a close-up video on this and talk a little bit more about this specific piece. But with Tremors being such a fantastic movie, it got me thinking, what are some of the greatest movies of all time? Not only what are some of the greatest movies of all time, but how do you actually classify them as a great movie? So for me, there's two things that kind of quantify that. Number one, if you're flipping through the channels and it's actually on TV and you have to stop and watch it, then yes, it classifies as one of the greatest movies of all time. Another thing for me is if you're a big collector like I am, do you have any collectibles from said movie? So today I have a list, a top 10 list that we're going to look at all of them in no particular order and say these are movies that when I see on TV, I absolutely have to stop. We're also going to look at, do I actually have a collectible related to that movie? And then finally, we're going to take a closer look at this graboid. That's what they called it, giant underground worms. So the first 5 movies we're going to look at, these are movies that if they're on TV, I absolutely have to stop. I don't have any collectibles for these movies, and you're going to see why. So starting with this one, Moneyball. I love Moneyball. I have watched probably that scene where he gets on base on YouTube probably 10,000 times. The whole movie is fantastic. Obviously has a fantastic cast from Philip Seymour Hoffman, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill. I love Moneyball. I can't get enough of it. And this is me not being a huge baseball fan. So clearly you couldn't really get a collectible from that movie, other than an autographed signature, which I do have Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. They signed Fight Club, because to me that's Brad Pitt's greatest movie. Next one, I have to watch if it stops, is Margin Call. If you've never seen this, it has the most star-studded cast. Jeremy Irons, the dude from Mentalist, Kevin Spacey, Demi Moore, the new Spock, and more. If you don't know what this movie is about, this is like back in 2008 when the economy dropped out. This firm was a trading firm, and they were the first ones to figure out what's going to go on with these mortgages. It's based on a true story, just like Moneyball, and they kind of kicked off a fire sale. And that's all I'm going to say. You have to watch it. It is such a fabulous movie. So the next one, without a collectible, Disclosure. If Disclosure's on, I have to watch it. And I'm not just talking about the part where Demi Moore gets all sexy. I think Michael Douglas is one of the greatest actors. I love almost every movie he's in. And I just love the storyline. Again, a star-studded cast. You have Donald Sutherland, Demi Moore, Michael Douglas, and more. Kind of switching it a little bit, if this movie pops on, this next one, I think it's just a hilarious movie. It's a Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. I'm also huge fans of them, as well as a lot of other fantastic cast, including Michael Keaton. Yes, I'm talking about the other guys. Clearly, I couldn't get a collectible from this either, but this is one of those movies I'll just watch over and over. There's so many great scenes in this. So the last one, before we get to the 5 that I actually have collectible-related stuff to, is Inglourious Basterds. I'm a huge Tarantino fan. While this probably isn't my favorite Tarantino movie, I just have to watch it, especially the opening scene with Hans Lando. I've probably watched that 100 times in my life, and I could watch it 100 more. One of the best scenes in cinematic history, in my opinion. Again, can't get a collectible from that movie because that'd be kind of weird. These next 5, I do have collectibles for. And this was not an easy decision for me. I really went through a lot of movies like, what movie do I stop no matter what? No matter what I was watching, this trumps whatever else I was watching. And there was a few that almost made the cut, but these are definitely the top 5 in my opinion. Starting off with Alien or Aliens. 1 or 2, I'm good with either. I have quite a few Alien pieces, specifically from Alien 1, the Prime 1 Studio Big Chap remake that they did right here. Alien is an absolutely amazing film, and so is Aliens, and I've watched each of them probably 500 times in my life, and I bet you I'm going to watch them about 500 more. Rocky. So while I don't own any Rocky statues, I do have this autographed piece right here from the first 4 Rocky films, which in my opinion were the best, excluding Creed. I think Rocky 2, then Rocky 1, then Rocky 4 are the order of the best movies. And it's not just about the awesome fight scenes that we grew up with, but I loved the personal development of Rocky Balboa. That's probably why Rocky 2 is my favorite, because you really dive into the character quite a bit. Next one, not a shock, Avengers Infinity War. If that's on, I'm going to stop and watch that. To me, this is the best comic book movie that's been made, at least on the MCU, the Marvel side. So many good scenes in there, from the humor to the action to the characters to Thanos being just such a badass. Well, I've owned a ton of collectibles specifically from that movie over the years. Probably my most recent one is this life-size Iron Spider from Queen Studios. So I do have a few other ones that would probably fall into that category, but Avengers Infinity War is definitely one where you stop flipping and you definitely watch it. One of my favorite movies of all time, Jaws. This is probably my number one on the list. Not necessarily my favorite movie, but the one I 100% will always stop and watch. I do have this Iron Studios piece from Jaws, $3,000 diorama, that I absolutely love. It's a great representation of the film. And this is just Jaws 1. The sequels were all pretty iffy. You know, on our recent podcast, GemX Live, you can actually check it out right here. We talked about the worst sequels of all time. And the week before that was the best sequels, so make sure to check those out. Now, the last one shouldn't be a surprise. It's Tremors. I don't want to give you any spoilers because I'm hoping you're going to go watch it if you never have. And there's actually like 7 of them. The first one was amazing. The second one was entertaining, and after that, it just gets really out there. But they're fighting these huge underground monsters called graboids, which is a little bit of a spoiler because at the beginning of the movie, you don't know what's killing everybody. So this is from that, and let's just dive in some video and some thoughts on this. Check it out. So quick look at this guy. He has a museum base on the bottom. So it would have been better if it was some type of dirt he was coming out of, but the exterior looks really dry, and I think that's a good match to the movie. It doesn't have any of these spikes on it. I think they could have added that, but the paint job is decent. This is resin. You can tell by the weight of it. Then you come into the exterior beak. This could have used a little bit gloss, and I think it was a little bit darker in the movie. But what you're naturally drawn to is the interior of the mouth. So they used a moist wet effect, then the tentacles on the inside that look like little snakes. Again, just this crazy creature if you haven't seen the movie. The beak or so opens up into 3 segments. These are all separate pieces that key in right here. But yeah, just very cool. And I think these come out as well. Nope, they don't. It's been so long. But yeah, I bought it on eBay for a few $100 years and years ago, and I absolutely love it. I would say this is probably 1/10 scale, if you're curious what scale it is. Maybe a little bit smaller. Could be a little bit larger too, I guess.
Hey, that's what she said.
So I'm not going to rate this in the traditional system. This is such a cool collectible. And I bought it on eBay, like I said, years ago before I was actually into licensed statues. So I think this was just a creation someone did. And the cool thing about this is it's also wall mountable. For years, I actually had it mounted back there in some of my older YouTube videos. But I think this is an awesome, awesome creature. Graboids are fantastic. I would love a life-size one like they had in Graboids 2 that Bert, the gun nut, actually put on his wall. But definitely a movie that I'm always going to stop if it's on because I think it's absolutely amazing. So do me a favor, throw down in the comments below one of 2 things. 1, what's one of the movies that you have to stop if it's on? 2, what movies you love so much you had to get some type of collectible from that movie. Reason I asked you to comment is you could actually win a statue. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you want to make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. So thank you for tuning in. A little bit different video, but definitely a fun one. And I'm so glad I have this. This is such an awesome piece. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.